Hello everyone, welcome to my final video for Information Technology Seminars course. My name is Nguyen from group NITK17K. 12 weekly seminars will be convened for the purpose of exploring questions surrounding how human-computer interaction can support aspects of user interface design process. The seminar audiences will be introduced to several existing human-computer interaction principles for creating user-centered interfaces in different formats throughout the seminar. Through case studies following the seminar, the audiences are believed to achieve a richer understanding of how human-computer interaction can support user interface design work, such as in mobile applications and websites. This work also resulted in suggested improvements in user interfaces towards several example mobile applications and websites. About human, information is obtained and replies are given via many input and output channels. visual channel, auditory channel, haptic channel, and movement. Then the information is saved in a human's memory. There are three types of memories: sensory memory, short-term working memory, and long-term memory. Humans process and employ information from stored or real-time memory for reasoning, problem solving, skill acquisition, and error. Regarding a computer system, which also involves smartphones, tablets, and embedded computing devices, including aircraft, cockpits, household appliances, vehicles, and virtually any machines that process information, includes several elements that affect the system's user. Interaction models help us to understand what is going on in the interaction between user and system. They address the translations between what the user wants and what the system does. Economics looks at the physical characteristic of the interaction and how this influences its effectiveness. The dialogue between user and system is influenced by the style of the interface. The interface takes place within the social and organizational context that affects both users and system. The interaction begins with perceiving the users and context, discovering who and what they are communicating, and observing them. Scenarios are valuable design narratives, which can be applied iteratively during the design. They help us understand what users desire. They provide a step-by-step walkthrough of users' interactions, including what they see, do, and are thinking. User needs to discover their approach around a system, supporting users identify where they are, where they have been, and what they can do next. Designing overall structures that are straightforward to follow and meet the user's demands. Creating understandable screens and control panels. About complexity, the complexity of design implies we do not perceive it right the first time. Accordingly, we need iteration and prototypes to examine and evaluate. Iteration can get confined in local maxima, designs that have no simple improvements but are not qualified. Theory and models can promote good start points. Usability is an analysis of effectiveness, performance, and satisfaction with which a specified users can accomplish specific goal in a particular environment. Any user-centered development must employ usability as its core. The design will never be a success unless it is usable. It into um, Interface design consequently is essential for any interactive software and of absolute importance in systems with high cost of value, for example, nuclear power plants, space mission control, systems with novel requirements on executive, for example, rescue coordination centers, combat aircraft, call centers, systems that request users while on the move, for example smartphones and tablets. Bad interface may make users require more time for performing their task, make more errors, feel unsatisfied, need more time for memorizing how to use the software and not learn or use the software's sufficient functionality. If given a choice, abstain from using the software. The CHAM module presented a logical component of a user interface management system (UIMS), in which included presentation components, dialog control, and application interface model. Users have become accustomed to interface elements functioning specifically, so being consistent and predictable in choosing the layout will help with task achievement, efficiency, and satisfaction. Interface elements covered but are not limited to. Sometimes multiple elements might be suitable for displaying content when it is necessary to consider the trade-offs. For instance, sometimes elements that can save space put more of a burden on the user mentally by guessing the elements. Most designers employ UI design patterns to form their work. As a result, design similar looking user interfaces. Everything stems from knowing the user, including learning their goals, skills, preferences, and tendencies. When an interface is well sketched, it becomes a seamless experience for the user. Conversely, a poorly designed interface indicates that users cannot perform their task flow. Designers should keep the interface simple to minimize the cognitive load. The term cognitive load indicates the amount of reasoning processing power of a user needs to use a product. To keep the cognitive load to the least, withdraw undesirable elements and are evident in the language that they use on labels and messaging. Creating consistency and using common UI elements allow users to feel more comfortable and master new aspects more promptly. It is also vital to generate patterns in language, layouts, and design throughout the site to help promote efficiency. Consistency makes the interface design identifiable and predictable. Hence, the users can transfer that skill to other parts of the site. There should be no confusion for the users to understand what they are interacting with through the interface. Being purposeful in page layout can help draw attention to the essential information and aid scanning and readability. Also strategical in using color and texture to direct or redirect the user's attention toward or away from items. Clarity and hierarchy over complexity in using typography because it helps increase scannability, legibility, and readability. Finally, one of the excellent UI practices is to retain the user in control. Users prefer to feel in control of themselves and their environments, for example, locations, actions, changes in state, or even errors. Hence, the system must be sure to communicate what is happening. From the machine side, the designer can actively create defaults to lessen the load on the user by carefully thinking about and predicting the goals people bring to the product, for example, website or application. Schneiderman's 8 golden rule of interface design shows a convenient and concise interface design fundamental principle. They can be both used during design and applied to the evaluation of systems. However, these rules do not apply to every eventuality, but they are still helpful and of which application will help most design projects. Designers should strive for consistency in action sequences, layouts, terminology, typology, iconology, and comment use. Facilitates frequent users to use shortcuts such as abbreviations, particular visor sequences, and macros to perform regular familiar actions more quickly. Designs should propose instructive feedback for every user's action at a level relevant to the magnitude of the action. Designers should design dialogues to yield closer so that the user understands when they have finished a task. Ensuring error prevention and easy error handling so that the users are prevented from making mistakes, and if they do, they are given clear and informative instructions to recover. Allowing easy reversal of actions to relieve anxiety and encourage explanation, since the user acknowledges that he or she can always return to the previous state. Design should support an internal locus of control so that the user can control the system responding his or her action. Increase short-term memory load by keeping displays simple, consolidating multiple page displays, and giving time for learning action sequences. Also essential to go through Norman's 7 principles for transforming complex tasks into simple ones. Accordingly, they provide a helpful summary of his user-centered design philosophy. If individuals want to learn more about design, they are sincerely encouraged to read the Bible of Design, namely the Design of Everyday Things, to get the complete picture. To be specific, the seminars focus on the target audience coming from the user science and IT. So it seems practical to understand the design system that helps them build high-quality digital experiences. For succeeding seminars, all guidelines for a usable application or website from material.io will be studied and utilized by the author. Evaluation techniques can be considered under 2 general headings: expert analysis and user participation. Evaluation is a variant of think aloud evaluation technique in which the user is encouraged to see himself as a collaborator in the evaluation rather than just a subject. This more relaxed approach has several advantages. It is less constrained and therefore easier for the evaluator, who is not forced to sit in solemn silence. The user is encouraged to actively criticize the system rather than simply suffer it, and the evaluator can clarify points of confusion, so maximizing the effectiveness of the approach. Note that it is often not the designer who is the evaluator, but an independent person. One of the problems with this technique is that it causes a large volume of information that must be carefully and time-consumingly broken down. A record of an evaluation session is a protocol, and there is a number of practices such as pen and paper, audio, and video recording, computer logging, and user diaries. Analysis can be partially automated for some situations, but the protocol analysis must be done by hand or for the pen and paper method. Evaluation has three principal goals, which are evaluate the extent and accessibility of the system functionality, evaluate users' experience of the interaction, identify any particular problems with the system. The case study 1 is about Spotify design. Spotify design recently migrated to Figma, a free online UI tool to create, collaborate, prototype, and hand off. They are planning to launch the music box and describe how they have shaped the tool to fulfill their requirements and culture at Spotify. However, the scope of this case study does not cover the rationale or how they moved. Instead of, the case study focuses on where they are going to kick out over 5 structures. Individuals would like to research the rationale behind it. Smith and O'Sullivan suggested reading Figma ways of working to understand. It is helpful for other design teams looking for more organization for their work in Figma. They developed a playbook and incorporated this into training they hosted and when they onboarded designers onto Figma. They needed to do some polite policing, regularly checking the tool to do some light housekeeping, checking on root theme, often with random squad names, pinging people on Slack when they saw their version to the conventions, and hosting demos to show people how to set up things correctly. Spotify team created a hashtag Figma channel for designers to ask them questions and even added some external folk from Figma product team. Accordingly, they have now been using the new structure for 4 months, and so far so good. For the most part, designers have adhered to the system and they have seen instances of teams across the organization collaborating on products rather than hiding their work inside their organizations. They believe this will help the impact they set out to achieve, and Spotify team will continue to iterate as they receive feedback and notice emerging trends. The second case study is about Lucy Platform. It is famous for developing a B2B e-commerce platform for the diamond industry to allow diamond companies to sell more diamonds through the digital. In detail, Lucy Platforms offers diamond companies such features as creating their online platforms, preparing to be connected, getting new customers, and increasing their sales dramatically. In July 2020, a new project at Lucy Platforms was launched to introduce a new tool in their arsenal, a diamond price calculator. It was a part of the company's strategy and vision. Plan, design, and manage a diamond price calculator application dedicated for mobile, with plans to reach the web as well. So the design team was assigned to this project involving a UX designer, UX planning, first product roadmap, UI design, not branding, a developer, and 4 board members, including managers and stakeholders. There is Sergey Henderson, who is the author of this case study. And for learnings, progressive disclosure simplify flows and gradually adds more functions, added options and functionality to these flows. The capabilities and limits of technology hand-off during COVID-19, to be patient. Is understanding the capabilities and limits of For hands-on experiments, I introduced HiEthan.com. This is an expert flower and gift delivery company with more than 64 franchise retail locations across Vietnam. The mission is to improve customer feeling expression, for example, love, appreciation, gratitude, and adoration by using flowers. The research findings should evaluate whether the design meets the desired value of conceptual group of users who are living abroad, apparently propose possible solutions and embody them. On the data from huayuthung.com, groups of the products are classified according to sales campaigns, collections, occasions, styles, and plans. Indoor plant is a new growing segment in Vietnam's online market because of their belief in feng shui, air purifying needs, and decoration purpose. Also, the author vaguely recognized that half of the competitors' websites being built and run by local retailers, whereas others by international ones. Here's the user journey. Currently, there are many apps on App Store Vietnam location, but they all lack reviews from users. They tend to buy products at store directly or via websites rather than download a specific application on their mobile devices. If the author has more time and chance to work on this segment, finding the way to approach users from the new shopping method will be researched seriously. By presenting 10 fruitful seminars to support the topic toward understanding human-computer interaction in designing the user interface, the author believed that she could deliver and showcase a complete picture of the impact of human-computer interaction on user interface and experience design. Hopefully, the literature review gave audiences a comprehensive understanding of one of the creative fields, application and website design. The rationale behind 10 presentations was exploring how human-computer interaction could support aspects of the user interface design process. The seminar audiences were introduced to several existing human-computer interaction principles for creating user-centered interfaces in different formats throughout the seminar. Through case studies following the seminar, the audiences achieved a richer understanding of how HCI can support user interface design work, such as mobile applications and websites. This work also resulted in suggested improvement in user interfaces towards several examples of mobile applications and websites. List of references used in the seminars. This is the end of the final video. Thank you for watching.